Hey guys, this is my second video for TogetherweR Thursdays, and I want to talk about fears and issues that we have surrounding healing. Um, Making the decision to seek help is very frightening, and there are some very common concerns that people with eating disorders might have about seeking help. Some of the biggest are, like I talked about in last week's video, that it's a black and white thing, that you either have to, all or nothing, you're either going to be sick or you're going to be better, and the middle ground gets hazy. But probably the top concerns are, I'm not ready to let go of my ED. What if they take my ED away from me? And also, it's gonna make me fat. Getting better is gonna make me fat. These are like two really big fears people have, and these present really significant barriers to treatment for a lot of people. So I just want to offer some insight on that. As far as being afraid that your ED might be taken away from you, I know it's not often discussed, but this is a very real fear for a lot of people, EDs develop as a coping mechanism for survival, and the thought of having it taken away is terrifying. So, I just want to dispel, because that really is a myth. Nothing and no one can take your eating disorder away. If you've looked at any of the recovery vlogs, you'll notice pretty quickly that it's a battle. Even people who are 100% committed to recovery struggle. While it is possible to become weight restored if you're underweight, and it is possible to modify behaviors and learn new coping skills, very often the thoughts don't leave us. And this isn't something that is often cured. It is possible to have full 100% recovery, absolutely. Some people do achieve that, but many of us do not. And so, please don't be afraid that somebody is going to take this away from you. It is your choice, and you are in control of what you are willing to take on in seeking help. Even if you're forced into treatment, really, if your heart isn't in it, nobody can make you get better. You have to want it. So if you are afraid that it's going to be taken away, understand that, number one, that isn't possible, and number two, healing is a process, and you are the autonomous director of that healing and degree of healing. Sorry, my screen keeps going out. As far as getting fat, there are programs that focus exclusively or primarily, predominantly on weight restoration if you are underweight. But if you've heard of Stephen Levincron, he writes a great deal of good books. I highly recommend Anatomy of Anorexia. He actually wrote Best Little Girl in the World, which is like about the very first case he treated, and this is back in the 70s, I think. And he was able to pioneer treatment after dealing with this girl. Like, all of a sudden, after he was able to get through with her, then people were referring patients to him, the hopeless cases. it's never hopeless. No matter how long you're sick, you can get well. And it is your decision how well you get, or at least nobody can make you relinquish things you aren't ready to. But keep an open mind about that. But yeah, as far Stephen Levincron recommends that people get within 10%. I think it's within 10%. I'll have to double check the facts, but of the weight they were prior to descending into ED pathology, and of course this will depend on if you're finished growing or not. But you don't have to get fat to be well. It is possible to be in balance and in maintenance and still be thin. It is possible. And I know that that's a very scary thought, and it may seem completely intangible, but it is possible. I have been walking in balance with my eating disorder for several years now, and stayed off nutrition and everything. So, and there's people way better off than me that are also strong in their recovery and aren't fat. It's not going to make you fat. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is, I think one of the reasons that recovery is so difficult is, I have this analogy. It's like culture shock. All of a sudden, you are being taken out of your world and your thoughts and your coping mechanisms and your language and thrown into this environment that is completely foreign, being asked to look at things, interpret things, talk about things, explore things in a completely new and foreign way. And that's really uncomfortable for people. So yeah, the sentient experience of, say, entering a treatment program is a bit like culture shock, because you've lived this way, you've maladapted, and maladaptive behaviors are like, you've adapted to survive, but it's a toxic way to do it. And so yeah, entering any kind of rigorous healing program can be like culture shock, or even exploring recovery on your own. Challenging your comfort zone and learning new things is critical. And I know that that can be terrifying, and my best advice is, take it slow as you can. Remember that nobody can make you do anything you're not comfortable doing. Keep an open mind, okay? Like, nobody's gonna take this away from you. Nobody can force you to do anything that you intrinsically are not comfortable doing as far as mental work. And I think that mental work is critical. These programs that just focus on weight restoration and don't really help you learn new coping skills, they're not often effective because we haven't dealt with the core issues when that happens. But also, do know that if you are underweight and or in a malnourished state, sorry, my screen keeps going out, it is critical that you are renourished to some degree, refed to some degree, before any meaningful progress can be made in recovery. There's actually changes in brain chemistry that come with starvation physiology that prevent any meaningful benefit in therapy for most people to a large degree. So it is important to get your nutrition up before really working at the mental aspects of the condition, learning new techniques to empower yourself and cope. But yeah, it's nothing that can be taken away from you. So I hope that some of this will maybe inspire people who are still entrenched to consider embracing healing to any degree you choose. And I will come up with something else to talk about for next week. If you have any video requests or questions for myself or anybody else on the Together We Are team, please feel free to ask. You can comment on anybody's videos or send us a message. Also, I noticed on our channel the moderator is up where you can enter a question if you want to pose it to all of us. And one of us will definitely, at least one of us, will get back to you. We're here for you guys, okay? So let us know if there's something you want us to talk about. Much love to everyone. I hope you're well. Bye.